Why is it not showing the black screen at the...
I do not know. I know how to hit record.
There's so much we can do with this. We really ought to just sit down and do it.
Yeah, that'd probably be
This is your
good.
camera. I think if we switch here, then it records. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so when you do this presentation for YouTube, just show it. You need to have channel content.
Can you
Otherwise,
just
it's this camera.
leave it selected, right? Yeah, because the other camera's not that important. I think just leave it like that, and then I won't have to worry about it. That sounds good to me.
Okay, we can do that. And hopefully the sound should come out.
I tried turning it up last week, but it started getting the
Well, that's because they
background.
put the mic down on their. It was getting feedback because the sound was coming out of their speakers, and it was also going out through the HDMI.
Okay.
And so don't. I know Tanya put the mic down like the speakers on that, and that's what the feedback is.
So okay. That makes sense.
It should come out. Anyway, if you want to turn that off, you just go
So
back.
how do I go back? Oh, just go exit.
This is the camera back here.
Uh-huh.
This one. This is either this camera here, or is, when we go to that, it's what's being broadcast over here. See how it's... So, that's it there. Otherwise, it's just going to show that the whole time. Okay? And I'm not sure why this camera isn't on. It has been on in the past.
That's why I was like, leave it on me.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you for coming out to the regularly scheduled commission meeting. We're in the commission chambers. It's August 29th, 2022 at 11 a.m. I'd ask you to shut your phones off, at least put them on silent if you would. We'll start out with a prayer from Sherry Bolton and then the Pledge of Allegiance from Monica Hill. Amen. Thank you. Let's see, we have approval of minutes. We don't have any minutes this week. Report of warrants, review of counter signatures, certified list of claims. I never did receive any of the warrants. Mm-mm.
So you guys didn't get them?
No,
Okay. You want me to hold off till next week? There was no certified claims,
just present them
and
out.
there's only
Let us
one
know.
that I
Can you
thought
get us
I'd...
a copy so we can go, so I can look at
Yes,
them?
I will get you a copy.
Thank you.
There was one, only one on here is Ridgeline Motorsports. The search and rescue received a FIG grant for part of it, and then they used part of their own funds to buy it for $28,615.84. And everything else was just the normal bills.
Okay.
but we will get them over to you.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
And there was no claims, no certified claims.
Okay,
Other than these still were not my standard, not created, modified in the auditor's office.
have you been working with Rick at all on that?
Rick's been working with us. We're in the process. We're moving forward.
Okay. Cemetery certificate.
One today, Commissioners, Mazer Cemetery, Pedro de los Santos, lot 843, spaces 5 and 6. And that's it.
Okay, entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve the cemetery certificates as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Tax matters today. Any? Seeing none, we'll move on. Business licenses.
Good morning, Gabby Hawks Blackburn with Community Development. We have two today. The first one is a commercial business. It is located at 2540 West, 500 North. There was some confusion with the address, so I'm gonna also say 525 North, 2500 West. There's a few buildings right in there. They gave us both addresses. This is Inked Threads LLC. It's like custom screen printing. They also do designing, painting.
Name again?
Inked, I-N-K-E-D, Threads LLC. It's located in a C1 zone, so it's a commercial business in a commercial zone. Fire went by, building went by, I went by, everything looks good. They have all their stuff in. So we just recommend approval with the condition that they follow all Tri-County Health, Fire, and Building Department rules and regulations.
Are they just selling locally or?
Yeah, I think they sell online. They go to fairs and stuff, but customers actually go to that location as well.
Okay. If somebody's selling just locally and they decide to sell online, do they need to update their business
no.
license? Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the commercial business license for Inked Threads, as long as they comply with all the rules attendant to a commercial business license.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Yes.
Sorry, just to answer your question a little better, if they go from like a business license that they have to pay for and they move to just online sales only, that's a free business license. So they would want to come in and update the business license. That way they're not having to pay the fee every year.
But if they're doing both, it
would
just
stay the
stays the same.
same.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, this next one is M.L, like it's two letters, 6N Company. It's located at 2882 South, 500 West, parcel number 624-172. It's in the A1 zone, and it's like a trucking company, and they are planning on parking their truck there, but they don't have their conditional use permit approved right now. They have applied for it, and we're just waiting for the public comment period to run out. We went by and checked it out. Everything looks good. So we recommend at this time approving the business license with the condition that they follow home-based business rules and regulations and that no commercial vehicles are parked at the home without first obtaining an approved conditional use permit. So if that gets approved, they're good to go. If not, they will not be able to park at that location.
And that'll be parked off the road. I mean, it'll be parked in the back
Right.
somewhere. We have
Yeah.
a problem with a lot of them parking out on the main shoulder of the road, and it's causing us some grief, so.
Yeah, they have a site plan where they have to show where they're going to park it. It has to be away from residences and stuff.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, for the M.L 6M Company.
6 and Co.
N
And,
and,
sorry, yeah.
okay. And that it follows all home-based business licenses, and there is a contingency on the approval of the parking there, but at this time, there's no parking until the approval is at the site, until approval is okayed.
Okay, have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ellen's not in today, so I'll get with you and we'll sign those. Okay, bid opening and possible award for number one is Uinta County Active Transportation Plan 2021 proposal.
Okay, Commissioners, we've received one bid for the active transportation plan. It is from Sunrise Engineering. And I'm not sure if this was for prices or just qualifications.
I don't know anything about this one.
Let's see if you put a price in here on that. He's provided his fee schedule based on what engineer and what type of, what they are. But I do not see an overall bid price on this. So with that, Commissioners recommend we take it under consideration. Do we need to do this today, or is it gonna, if we go off where there's no meeting next week? Is this time sensitive, Mike?
Do you want to come up to the mic, Mike? And talk to Mike?
Mike Cook. I'll give a little bit of explanation what this is. This is actually a grant that's been in the works for quite a while. It's what it is. It's the TAP grant. TAP, it stands for Transportation Alternative Planning. So it's a grant, UDOT grant, that's designed to evaluate alternative transportation corridors to get people from like the city center to the subdivisions, parks, and stuff like that. And so this grant is mainly dealing with two corridors. Is what it is they're going to evaluate two different corridors. One's Fifth South from Highway 40 up to Cottonwood Heights, dealing with ways to get people from basically the city center to their houses and stuff without using cars to, alternative. Both that's, and so it'll evaluate ways to turn that into an alternative transportation corridor, both motorized and pedestrian, biking, walking, and ways to do that. The other one is that what's known as the Ashley Creek Trail, and that's to get people up kind of by the old Fort Ponds. And these are just analysis of ways to do that. We know the Ashley Creek Trail, even though it's named the Ashley Creek Trail, everybody realizes that there's a lot of right-of-way issues and stuff. So that one will probably come back, for instance, restriping roads and stuff rather than actual walking up Ashley Creek Trail. So, but that's what this grant does, is strictly analyze and give cost projections, and is what that does with that evaluation and cost projections. It opens us up for UDOT funding. We can actually apply for UDOT funding to do those projects in the future.
And which department will this grant be funded out of? I mean, how does this, is there a match to it at all, or?
There was a match. It's a relatively small match. I think it was around $3,000. And I think we came in and presented to this almost a year ago is when it started. So.
Okay.
So.
But we don't know a cost? We don't know what this is, Mike, to approve that, or do we?
That's what I suggest we take it under consideration and award at a future meeting.
Does that give you time where we don't have meeting next Monday? You'll be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll table that one for now.
Just send it for review.
Send it to review. Okay. So we're good with that? We don't need to make any
Just
motions.
acknowledge receipt of it, it'd be,
All right, so the next one is the RFP for the water line and power line installation at Uinta County at Buckskin Hills Tube and Snow Hill.
okay, Commissioners, this next 5, throwing out to you right there. We've received a bid for number 3, the RFP for the seal coat. We received no bids on any of the other projects. So for the water line, there was no bid received for the RV park campground, or the pump station, or the tube snowboarding hill, the tow rope for that one. So I don't know if you want to put this out for bid again and give additional time. But I did receive one bid, so I think we should open that one for that one.
That's for number 3?
Yeah, for number 3, which is the asphalt seal coat.
Okay.
We did receive a bid on that one. So with that, Commissioners, we received a bid from CKC Operations, LLC, out of Altamont, Utah. Looks like they've given 3 different prices, Commissioners, and maybe more than that. Drag strip, $4,517.18, and then another drag strip for $26,299.46, and looks like a total of $30,816.64.
I'd say we go across it and review it and make sure that it
Yeah.
meets our needs. And then bring it back in 2 weeks.
Who's gonna be on that?
Leisha and Derek.
Yeah.
What's
No.
that? No.
If you're okay with that, we'll take that in consideration and award it a future meeting.
Okay.
Well, it's not time sensitive on any of that stuff if we're putting it off 2 weeks. That's what I was concerned about is we wait 2 weeks and
Still should be fine in the middle of September.
how long for them to get there and all that good stuff. We're gonna have it up and running by the 10th, right?
Derek Cotamillo. The only thing that would be time sensitive is the temperature, and if we are middle of September, we're going to be mid-90s all this week into the 1st of September, so I think the temperature still going to be in our favor, and so we can tabulate it for next review. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're probably gonna be running, what is temperature
close.
gonna be? But I know they're gonna quit doing that stuff anytime here in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
It's supposed to stay pretty warm.
Do you guys want to look at it real quick and we'll put it to the bottom of the agenda?
But we can. We can look at it, or table it for the next time too. It's
I would
fine.
rather table it and just look at it, review it.
'Kay.
And then as long as we're not going to run into a time issue.
Yep, that should be fine.
Okay.
The only other thought on that, Commissioner, where we received only one bid, if you wanted to award it pending that everything met what was bid out,
That's,
I mean, that's,
Do that.
yeah.
John, would that be,
Yeah, they can do that.
that way if it meets all the specs and everything,
It'd be a good idea. I'd like to see it done to protect it over the winter, so. Put it this way, I'll put it up for a motion. If I get a motion, we'll move that way. If not, we'll put it off. Okay,
okay.
I guess we'll put it off. Ask for a motion. What's that?
Not
Go ahead.
From there.
If you come up to the mic.
So if this passes, where do the funds come from for this? That's just, I want to know is it budgeted in
It's in the
this
budget.
budget?
Yeah.
Under what?
Depending on, it could be, I mean, it could be ARPA money, it could be 2 or 3 different forms of money that we have.
I thought the ARPA money was already allocated.
Well, it was part of, this was one of the projects that was sent in when we had what was it, back in June? That we sent that letter in? Or it might even been earlier than that. We had to send a letter in to the federal government of what projects we were gonna do and what we're gonna do with the money.
And so this project is on that, that's already been
The
approved
Buckskins Hills, yeah.
for that. So it
Yeah.
doesn't come out of, it's all ARPA money or,
Yeah.
okay.
So do you want to just, the other bids, I'll let you guys decide with Derek and Alicia what you want to do on those.
Okay. Well, let's see, where are we at? We went through those 6 pretty quick here.
Rural grant programs.
Yeah, discussion on the 2023 rural county grant program, Travis Campbell.
Good morning, Commissioners. Travis Campbell, UNA County Economic Development. I'm here today to present on the 2023 Rural County Grant Advisory Board, some of the projects that that board came up with for that state funding. That the Rural County Grant is state funds that comes through the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity. This is very flexible money that is kind of made to be managed in unique and individual ways from county to county. So really things through workforce development, capital investment projects, recruitment, things like that. So the advisory board for UNA County has gotten together several times over the past couple months and came up with a great list of projects. In the past, this funding has gone through things like to help fund the computer coding program with Dev Pipeline, the Rise and Thrive business pitch competition, and the downtown facade grant. So among others, those are just a few notable programs that it's been used for. So this year the board has agreed on several projects. So I'll just go through that list. At this point, there's no necessary action that you all have to take, but I just want to make sure you're aware of what these programs are, so that when we apply with the state will then approve. We'll enter into an agreement with them to use these funds for these projects. But just want to make sure they're on your radar and you know what's going on with this year's funding. So first, because of the success and the increased demand with that coding program, we'll continue to put some funding towards that scholarship through the Innovation Hub with Dev Pipeline. Similarly, we'll continue the Rise and Thrive pitch competition. That's shown to be a great program and a great event, and that just helps with some funding for startups or small businesses to expand. So we're going to expand that competition this year to include a culinary division. So we'll have a regular division with just any kind of business. We'll have a student division and now a culinary division, just to focus on the culinary industry. And next, we're going to try and implement a new program for general contractors here in UNA County. Currently, if you want to get your general contractor's license, you have to travel to the Wasatch Front to take a state required course, 25-hour course. Takes about a week of your time to go do that. So we wanted to try and make that accessible here. So that's something we're working with some of those. There's only a select few organizations that can provide that training, and most of those are either on the Wasatch Front or down in St. George. So we're going to try and get some of those either in person or virtually to have that more accessible here in UNA County. We're also going to partner with the Chamber of Commerce with their Business Development Committee and their Education Committee to help create some events and bring in speakers to again help with workforce development, to provide some kind of specialized knowledge and training for both employers and employees. We'll also create a buy local campaign where we get some banners and signage and have a group to organize throughout the year various buy local campaigns to help not only the the businesses downtown will have some sidewalk sales. We'll bring those back, and that signage will help with those, both in the Vernal and Naples area. Next, we will have some funding for a feasibility study at the airport. The board thought that would be a good use to look at what some other airports in the area are doing with respect to electric planes. Looking at if that's a possibility for Vernal to have electric planes flights out of Vernal. And then lastly, we will continue working with Vernal City with their facade grant program. That's been another successful program that will be ongoing, so we'll continue to partner with them through this funding. And that's a great one too, because this grant overall does come with a match, and so we're able to use the CRA funds from the downtown program to cover the entirety of this match. So no county funds will have to go to the match of this year's grant. So that's the list. It's kind of a lengthy one, but they're all going to be good programs. So just want to make sure that's on your radar.
In the past, we've had to use county funds for the match.
Yes.
And this year we won't have to.
So this year we won't have to. We'll be able to utilize those CRA funds. So.
Okay.
But we'll get these
No,
submitted to the state, and then when they approve them, we'll go from there, and I'll just keep you up to date. So
They're
any
great
questions?
programs. It's good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for everything. Okay. No action on that. Utah Geospatial Resource Center Monument Replacement Restoration Committee Grant Contract.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brock Slaw, UNT County Surveyor. The UNT County Surveyor's Office applied for a grant with the MRRC Committee. It's a committee that was set up, I think, back in 2016 to get funds for the preservation of section corner monuments. And this year, the project that we proposed was up Dry Fork Canyon, and we were awarded $45,100 in funds. They have encouraged us to match some. And the match is not part of this contract that I can see, but we typically in the past we've matched about 25%. Because of the size of this fund, I didn't want to match that much. I matched closer to 20% of that. I agreed to match that, and that money match will come out of my county surveyor's budget.
Do you have an idea how much that match will be?
It was around $11,000. I apologize. I meant to have the exact number here, but I missed that paper.
Okay. Okay. John, have you had a chance to read?
Yeah,
Contract? Looks good. Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the grant from the Utah Geospatial Resource Center regarding monument replacement restoration, the Monument Replacement Restoration Committee, including authorization of contract or signature. It's in the amount of $45,100, and would you say approximately 20% match, or?
Approximately. I'm sorry. I like I said, I left that paper home. It was a little over $11,000 match,
Okay.
is what it was.
Including the match of around $11,000 as presented by Brock.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Next item is a non-compliant building.
Good morning, Matt Kazir, Community Development Office. So we've got, we're requesting authorization to record a certificate of non-compliant building or structure on property located at 180 North, 3800 West, here in the Vernal area. Property serial number 4115 and 15. This property actually has two non-compliant structures on it. One's appears to be like one of those man camp type buildings on skids that's being used as a dwelling, and the other one is an an accessory building that's 2 stories. And with that, we have the owner of the property has been into the office a couple different times. I talked with the building inspector this morning. He said he did talk to the owner last week as well. But we haven't had any applications or anything turned in at this time. And so with that, the recommendation would be to give the owner 30 days to get his stuff in order and get his permits applied for, and get the issues taken care of.
Okay. So you're recommending we give him 30 days before we file it?
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make that motion that we authorize a 30-day notice for the non-compliant certificate for the structures at property at 180 North, 3800 West, serial number 411515.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
And that was after 30 days, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Next one is a presentation from Steve Huber. Want to come up? Pam, while they're coming up, I did forget, we did put some revitalization money in there also. So there'll be some revitalization money to fund some of those projects. Oh, yeah. Yep.
My name's Steve Hubert, concerned citizen and candidate for county commissioner, Democrat candidate for county commissioner. This is my grandson. He's my IT man. When we can get this up on the screen, we will begin. But I wanna start this with the comment section of last week when I was going to give my presentation, and Bart, you told me that it was obvious I wasn't prepared and that I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I'll grant you that I wasn't prepared, but I do know what I'm talking about. I didn't have the information to get prepared, but it was given to me shortly after I sat down, when Pam got up and explained what was going on. Now, how come this is not on?
All right, before we start, my name's Kelton Huber, but I'd just like to say that we both are doing this for the first time, talking in front of the public, so please be patient with us and try to hear our word, as our biggest concern is the public of Uintah County. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelton. Okay. There we go. Okay. First, I would like to clarify something that Bill Stringer said. Bill, you did not write the law. You do not have that power. You wrote an ordinance, which is an administrative rule to change how the county manages its accounting services. Second, by choosing to delegate the accounting services to a budget officer only created confusion and more procedures at the expense of efficiency and common sense. Now we are spending more money for salaries, employee benefits, and accounting software when we were fine to leave those functions with Mike, the county auditor. Third, now that you have chosen to delegate the accounting services to this unelected bureaucratic department, errors are being made, and you are violating Section 173620 by issuing checks without purchasing orders for expenditures and making double payments. Fourth, when the county auditor performs accounting services, because it is an elected position, they will be the checks and balances of the county commission, the body that can spend and tax. This slide is a representation before you delegate the county auditor accounting services. Fifth, by delegating that power to an employee who you can fire and decide their earnings, takes away that check and balance. Number 6, now Mike comes to these meetings and explains the error. There has been expressed anger, asking why he isn't fixing it. He explains because he cannot fix it when you have delegated those tools to the budget officer. Number 7, the only power and tools you have left Mike with is a printer. SB 0162 never required you to take these tools and powers away. You chose to do that by implementing an administrative rule by passing that ordinance. Number 8. So you have two choices. I think the first choice would be the best because it would give Mike back the tools he needs. Number 1, return the accounting services to the county auditor, who is an elected official and can be charged for failure to perform the duties of his office. This would give him the tools to help you fix your problem. Or keep the accounting services with the unelected bureaucratic department, but put the processes that are a check and balance. For example, make Mike or the county auditor provide pre-approval review instead of post-payment review to avoid mistakes. This process costs the taxpayers more money. As it is certain, or as in certain time, and as it certainly stands, or currently stands, the people should make a claim against your bonds for making payments without purchasing orders and issuing double payments. Your decision to delegate accounting services not only costs the people more money, but it gives you more power. The people should hold you accountable for making the decisions of mismanagement of taxpayers' funds. By adding the budget officer position that wasn't needed, you choose to delegate the accounting services to an employee, shifting the financial risk to all three of you. Okay. Now, I have another presentation. What I want to talk about there is what Pam bless her little sweetheart, pea-picking heart, let's call it that. When she got up and give her presentation last week, she was right. And she kept telling you, she said in that presentation that in counties that have different managing stuff, that's what that their amendment in SB 21, SB 22 B, that amendment that was in there that let them allow them to put them accounting services into an employee probably already in there to do that job. That's so that they wouldn't have the extra expense of creating a budget officer. It's plain to me that ordinance that you three passed was not well thought out, but I think that it was by design, and I'll tell you what. I haven't been through I haven't been to former education, but there was one institute that I went to. And it was the institute, the Limbaugh Institute of Conservative Studies. And while I was in that institute, I learned how to recognize the agenda of the left-wing elitists. One of them is a straw man. They create a straw man to beat up on. And then after the straw man, they create division and confusion. There's another part, personal destruction. That's another one of the tactics. There's a language called Babel that's in that playbook. There's one more in there that's called projection. They project on somebody else what they're doing. Now, Pam here, she don't understand the language of Babel. She don't know the language of Babel. And I don't think the recorder does either, because when Bill gets in some of his filibusters, he uses the language of Babel, but it can't be recorded because the recorder don't know the language of Babel. So she puts in there only the coherent parts. I've got a video that I would like to play. Kelton, would you play the video?
So, Kelton Huber again. I'd like to step in real quick. He is doing his best. This is hard for him to talk in front of the public, but I'd just like to stand out and say the reason we are up here is because we have constitutional rights that have been revoked in this county commission office of multiple times, and they have disrespected and disregarded so many people's comments and opinions and facts and the ability to help. They do what they want, and here's a video to demonstrate how he disrespects everyone that has an oppositional statement. Can we have you turn it up just a little bit, please, so that the room can hear? And then I'll play it so you can adjust. Can I have you turn off your microphones, please? I think it's picking up the speakers that are playing. Thank you.
No, I give you your 3 minutes. You've actually taken 6. In this meeting it is.
Wants to read the First Amendment right on there.
Please read the First Amendment right. It says, "There shall be no abridgment of the freedom of speech of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress or grievances." It also states religion, and I'd like to put that out there too. You have the right to your religion.
You are an elected official sworn oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. That means you protect my constitutional rights. That First Amendment right. It says, no state shall make or enforce. You want to read that, Kelton? I can't, my eyes.
No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
Chair is able to put time placement and restrictions on public comments, and public comments aren't even a statutory requirement in public meetings. The state legislature killed that law that was proposed in this last legislative session. So the chair said public comment would be for 10 minutes, each person 3 minutes each. The one part though, Mr. Chair, if a member of the public does want to stand up and then give their 3 minutes to another person, that is allowed. But the person would need to come up to make a comment and then give their time to another person. Sure. So that part would be allowed. I think I was actually looking down, so I didn't see who made that comment. So Tammy, if she wanted to do that, that actually would be proper. That's fine.
Okay. Citizen. First of all, it's scary to get up in front of the public. I commend Mr. Huber for daring to speak, so I would like to give him my 3 minutes, and I think he should be allowed to speak. It's scary to do IT, this is not his system, and
If you'd like to, though, what I'm offering you, I will put you on the agenda. You can put any kind of program you'd like to come present. I'm happy to do that.
That will work.
But
I want to make one more comment about John's comment about what the state legislature put out. Any law or code that goes against the Constitution is null and void. So what the state constitutions, or the state laws or codes or anything else that goes against the Constitution are null and void. I am talking about that. It's constitutional right. We derive our liberties and our rights from God, not the government. The Constitution. Now, I will take that next week's deal.
10 minutes is up, but Pam, come on
exact words, but the feeling that when I talked to them was that, yeah, it's not a good idea for your county, but they're gonna do it anyway. That was kind of the bottom line. Said that, and I just want to follow up on that. You brought up SB 162. And the county auditor, that bill was changed to make, they deleted that all counties were, they didn't go by class of county, they just made them all one county. And they said the county auditor in these counties would be the new name of
Go ahead, keep it going.
financial officer. That was the added change.
Turn it off.
Except if you lived in a county that had a council manager situation. Then there was some other.
Now, what she explained right there, what that amendment was for. The amendment to the law was to accept for, at certain counties, it's not large, that can do that. But our county's big enough that it needs this. It don't need to be due. It didn't never need to have that ordinance passed. And like Pam said, she was vocal about it. She was vocal about it, and she wasn't the only one that was vocal about it. In that meeting, John Larson got up and spoke when they was passing that ordinance. Dennis Stevens spoke. I got up and told you guys that what you was doing there was creating another unelected bureaucratic department. And Brad and Bart, Bill is not your friend. He's destroyed you two. Bill knew, in my opinion, what that was going to do. It was going to cause division. What they done to begin with was they painted red or orange hair on Mike Wilkins. That's the straw man. Mike Wilkins is the straw man. Then they went around a process of personal destruction, trying to destroy Mike. That was real evident right before the primaries. What these men done was created a campaign gimmick to get Bart there reelected. That's what this here diffusion of the bond and cutting the taxes was all about. And Bill says in some of his Bible that let me think. They was going to cut taxes and get rid of the bond. Well, and in some of his Bible, it'll come up in this video, where, well, we don't really have a financial plan. Well, we did have a financial plan. It was with our Treasury Department, an elected individual. So that was not true. What Bill said in that was we don't really have a financial plan was untrue. And it had saved us tons of money over the years with the interest rate it was saving on the complex that we borrowed money to build. Let's go ahead.
In our county, we have a county auditor. He is the financial officer, and it says right in the code that he shall provide accounting services for the county. It defines accounting services in SB 162. And this is where the phrase is in that line that accounting services create, modify, and delete transactions and records. That was added to which is what SB 162 says. So his job is to tell the commission, the legislative body, to give them judicial advice. So to me, you're not doing what the ordinance says to do, the new law says to do. You created another department. So we had the situation last week, there was frustration. It's not working. Mike gave a whole presentation one day about how the finances work, and it goes to the treasurer, the checks are made, and then we came back a few weeks later, and you have your system how it's going to work. Apparently the two did not jive. And I don't want this to lie, I just thought I shouldn't say anything, but this was intense, and it wasn't appropriate last week, what happened, and you didn't say anything, so I assumed you agreed with what was happening. But it's not right what's happening, and there's problems, there's always, every week, this was paid for without a purchase order. How about that? And the auditor has said that he would welcome purchasing agent. He's already said that a couple of times. But the accounting services should be created by the revisionist office according to state law. And so if it's not working and you're doing something that's against the law, you can fix that. And I think you can see it's not working apparently, because you told them they better get their act together and get it working. And I just didn't appreciate the way that came down last week at all. So I really wanted to comment about that, and that's all. 3 minutes. Thanks.
Well, I couldn't really understand it and follow it. It was kind of just, it was kind of babbling. But I'm sorry, but I think part of the problem is that you didn't really relate the facts, and so I couldn't understand. When you make a statement and then you take off as if that were a given, then I don't know what. Because what we're really talking about here, if the name is bothering you, we've already talked about changing that. The accounting services is not what that group is doing. The problem we had last week when Rick was sitting here is we got all the processes right, set the IT as a covering.
What he's doing here, he's speaking the language of Babel that he just projected onto Pam. Pam give a clear layout there what was going on, and that they could fix it. If they hired a budget director, and they're paying him $117,000 a year. Where is that managing our taxpayer dollars that Bill talks about? And I'll just go ahead on here, and he's talking in Babel, but every now and then you'll hear some different things.
We've got one end of it, and that's entering the encumbrance. And then it is supposed to go to the auditor's office for review. Because the auditors don't prove anything, they just go, yes, this is in conformance, no, it isn't, here's the problem.
Okay,
So it's the problem.
Bill knows that's not going to fix it. He knows even with the software hooked up, probably not going to fix it. That's why he wants. That's to create what he's done here is created confusion. And even if he gets his new software, it's still not going to, because Brenda got up and explained when they was trying to put that across and pass it, everybody but them was against it. And Brenda said because it's hard to learn a new software. And Rick, he knows it's hard, it takes time to write software. But it's not, I don't think it's gonna, even if they get the software wrote, it still won't fix what they've done. I said, I showed that in the slides. They got a choice. They can either kick it back to the accounting office, or go ahead and put safeguards in there to keep these things from happening. Okay, go on.
What's going on here is we've got Rick trying to work on it. He came and saw me after the meeting yesterday, or last Monday, and said he needs to work with Mike to get it finalized. And as far as I know, he came and saw you. It's ready. It's going to be exactly what it's supposed to be, and here pretty soon, Mike will be able to stop saying, I didn't create, I didn't do this, do that. But it hasn't been by design of the law, it's been by the fact that the IT department hasn't quite caught up, but they are all but there.
It is the law. SB
We're following the law, we're good.
On line 129 says that it will be created, modified, and deleted with the financial officer of the county.
We know, we know it. So
I know, and that's why Bart was so involved with it, he didn't say anything last week. Babbling? That's so mean.
That's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
My office gives legal advice to all offices and departments of the county. That's what we do. I have brought a clear distinction between an encumbrance report and the financial system. And my comments last week were actually directed at all 4 elected officials. Say, please get this fixed. That's what my office does. So do not say you 4. I will take personal note of that. Please don't. My office, and I hear giggling in the gallery, you all can be quiet. We provide legal advice to all offices and departments of the county. My legal advice has been the same for all offices and departments of the county. If people want to bring a new statute to my review, I will review it with no emotion and come up with the best legal advice in reference to the other attorneys in our office and continue to provide the best legal advice we can to all offices and departments in the county. So just so there's clarity of what my role was last week, it was calling the county out on this process.
Well, I appreciate
Not
that
any individual.
clarification, because it was not apparent. It was directed at the auditor for his verbiage, which is out of this SB 162. Then you bring up the department head, that's not how it appeared to me, and it bothered me. That contract was not
Now this is, he's caused this confusion. Now, what happened in the meeting before that Pam's talking about, how she felt like that Mike had been attacked by John. Well, that was set up, in my opinion, because in that video, Mike got up there with the warrants and he said these were not created, modified, or deleted in my office. And it sat there for a minute, and pretty soon Bill said, Mike, what do you mean about that? And I don't know whether I got it in the rest of this video or not. But what he was doing was pointing the blame at Mike, that Mike was the problem. He was the one that couldn't fix it. And that's causing the confusion and the division. And that's what it done to John. The only ones that are made this to where it don't work is the 3 county commissioners. Mike shouldn't have been included in that. John said, I put this out to all 4 of you. Bill has tried to destroy a man's reputation. And in the process, he's destroyed you guys, Barton and Brad. That gimmick that he cooked up for your campaign backfired, and I don't know whether he figured it even went work or not. But he said that most of the people, there's just a few people in here that come in and listen, but there's a lot of people out there that agree with him. But that's not true. You ended up getting the worst incumbent defeat, I think, in county history because of this deal. And the bond deal is the same way. And that's going to cost us taxpayers money. I don't know what you guys can do to shut that down, but I think it needs to be done. That and the software that he's so frantically tried to get passed the other day in that same meeting, the opening of that bid and awarding the contract. Okay, I'll go on.
We have 3 amazing elected officials. The first 2 that we have talked about is Mike and Pam. They have very valid information that would work and apply to what the problem is.
Time out. I am so not an elected official, but I'm not.
Pam is not an elected official, but she is very intelligent and has been disregarded on multiple occasions. Mike is an elected official, and he has been trying to do his job, and it is not allowed through the new ordinance. And we have a third person that's about to come up, and she did an amazing job at trying to save the taxpayer money. And it was completely disregarded, and she will state that in just a minute.
All of them, not grabbing one paragraph or one clause out of each statute.
I did not indicate that at all.
Well, you did say you 4.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to close the public comment, and now I will set your motion. Do I have a second?
I just want to say that, with respect to the partial presentation by Mr. Huber, with respect to Pam, with respect to everyone here, there is no doubt by creating this public comment section, and you're defining it as to what it is. We're not checking, we're not vetting people ahead of time. We're letting people with good ideas, dumb ideas, smart things, dumb things come up and make comments. So that is exactly what it is for. So I actually enjoy the public comment section, but it is just comment. We take it, we don't even need to respond to it. There are ways, if you've got an issue with us, the best thing to do is to come and see us if you've got a working issue. This is a forum for either making a comment about clarification perhaps, or just to say, well, I think that's a good idea, it's a bad idea, I like the balloon fest, I like this, I like that. But in terms of just coming up for self-aggrandization, I think that's just a waste of time. But anyway.
So now, he was saying that they really don't have to do this. They don't have to give us the voice. They don't have to give us our constitutional right. That we can limit it to 3 minutes. No. The problem with our government is we've got elected officials that are not honoring their oath. The oath that they swore. Them telling me that I was limited to the 3 minutes was not honoring their oath. What Bill done there there was a lot of babble in there. He accused Pam of babble when he's the one that done it. That's when they project onto somebody else what they are doing. And it's too bad that Bart and Brad did not go to the Limbaugh Institute of Conservative Studies and learn to recognize the tactics of a left elitist. Because that's what Bill is. He came from D.C., admittedly, and bragged about it. And in that, the reason he come out here, he was transferred out here to the BLM office. And then he retired with a nice federal retirement. Now, why would a man that retires with a nice federal retirement with the health benefits that he wants to deny us, or what he told Wendy in the video, that why should we do that? Why should we tax taxpayers' money? He was talking about the old 460s and 450 policies that they put out so people that retired before the age of 65 could still have insurance. But why do we need that? Why do we need to double tax? You have got the Affordable Care Act. We've got the Affordable Care Act. Why do we need to do that? Well, the Affordable Care Act was far from affordable. And it was rammed down our throats just like this ordinance was. Just like that bond diffusions was. We are governed, we're governed by the consent of the people. These guys has not considered the consent of the people. Let's go on.
Well, I will go ahead and start because this is an issue we have talked about before. We didn't go into it last week because we didn't get a motion and a second 2 weeks ago. But my concerns remain the same. This money does not belong to the county, never has. The county is stewards of public money, period. That's what we do. It's not as if the county collects it and goes, oh boy, what are we going to do with our money? If we're not moving forward with the business of the county and the taxpayers and our county, then we're not doing what we're supposed to do. People rely on us to manage that money wisely and not just spend it because we have it, but spend it because it's going to the business of the county. I heard a comment 2 weeks ago about, if we're heading for a recession, that county needs to get more money. Absolutely not. We're heading into a recession. The people in the county need to keep their money so that they can make it through the recession. If there's anyone who needs to sacrifice in that situation, it should be the county. It shouldn't be the people paying the taxes. I have a real concern that I went back and I pulled the minutes from meetings about the certified tax rate and go all the way back into 2017. One of the things that really concerns me is every one of those discussions, with the exception of 1 year and the exception of this board, none of the elected officials and very few, there were some people, those aspiring to become county commissioners, all they talked about was not the taxpayer, it was about the money they could get for the county. I'm reading one here that says, if the county's assets and cash in the bank are continually growing each year, why the employees have not been taken into account. This person stated feels the employees are the core, and they should be valued as such. Where's the discussion about the taxpayer? If we're getting money in here, and we're building up assets, and we're making that, oh, by the way, this person is the person running the commission. So, if we're not dealing with the taxpayers, and we're not taking care of the taxpayers, then we're doing something dreadfully wrong. And we sit here and we make fun of Colorado because they're a purple state going blue. And Utah's supposed to be this bastion of conservatism. This year, the state of Colorado went through and the governor sent out a letter to every taxpayer and said, we have set a law that says this is how much money we can collect, and this is all we're allowed to spend. We've managed to collect more than we needed under our budget. Here's your refund. This is after the tax refund. This is based on their budget. So I hate to think that Colorado is going to be more attractive than Utah in terms of tax. It's just terrible. So what I'm really getting at here is, I don't think the people who elect us, they're not watching us every day. We have a few that try and watch every day, but this is a tiny minority. They're expecting us to do a good job. They don't know that we've been using tax money to basically influence the outcome of elections. They don't know that we have been, that money collected by the county has been used to enrich county employees and elected officials more than is necessary or more than probably should be, but because we have no real financial plan, it's hard to say. So with that in mind, I'm looking at this and saying, yeah, we're not even really giving money back here because we haven't assessed it. This bond defeasance keeps us from collecting. It doesn't give anything back. It just kind of stems the flow a little bit. But since the valuations went up, you're still paying pretty much the same thing. Just think of how much worse it could be. But then, and then finally, what I've heard so far about why not to do it, I don't think can be relied upon as being an honest assessment. I think that it's very much geared towards preserving a status quo. I have very recently witnessed an episode where false information was given and in such a way as to influence an outcome. And if that's the case, I have to assume that that could occur here as well. So with that in mind, that is why I want to do this, is I think the county is mismanaging the public's money. The public's getting the short end of the stick, and even though this may not be giving back the money that's been taken, it's a start. Because it keeps us from taking more than
Wendy Long, Lynn County Treasurer. I know that my comments today are not going to change your mind, they're not going to change the outcome of this decision, but I feel that it's necessary that I do say something. I am very disappointed. I brought out the numbers, I brought out the figures last time. I have fought this for the taxpayers. And I also want to remind the commission that your duty as a commission is not just to the taxpayers, it is also administrative. And to me, this is not a wise administrative decision. This is not going to do the taxpayers any favors when we have to go out and borrow money at a higher interest rate than what we're paying now on the public safety complex. Your position as a commission is also administrative, not only to the taxpayers. And I just want it known and on the record that I disagree with this motion. I disagree with this decision. And I think that that money would be better off in our coffers to be able to use in the future when those needs arise. And I brought that up the last 2 meetings. So with that, Commissioners, I would just like to express my concerns.
Could you answer me a couple questions?
I'll try.
What would you do with the money? The $26 million that we're going to use.
That was brought
Given,
up.
let me give us a question. We're still going to have millions of dollars.
Not very many millions of dollars for a county this size.
We're going to have Steve, how much longer do you have?
I'll include it here, but I want to be put on the agenda for next week.
I can't do
We'll
that.
be writing up ordinance.
I can't put you on the agenda for next week. Oh, sorry.
I can't put you on the agenda for next week, I'm sorry. Well, I want to be put on the agenda at some time or another I'm going to have some ordinances wrote up for John's approval about how easy it'd be to put this here back together and to fix what you guys have broke. What Bill's done here is tried to destroy Wendy, Mike, Tammy, Pam with insults and depriving them of their constitutional rights. I think it's obvious here what has happened with this splitting up, taking them tools away from Mike. There was only one reason to do that. It cost us a new budget director that these guys hired and paid him $117,000 a year. I want you to check on the salaries and stuff of what that compares to. When you've got the bully pulpit, you can cover up a lot of stuff, Bill. Why would a man with that federal retirement come in here and run for an office that's a thankless job? County commissioner is a thankless job. And he had a nice big fat federal retirement, probably with way better medical benefits than any of you elected officials that are going to retire. Plus, he's going to have one from the county now. I think Bill come in here with an agenda. He was a leftist elitist, and he come in here to destroy our county government, and that's what he's done. That's exactly what he's done. But he's wanting to project what he's doing onto the straw man, the orange-haired guy back there named Mike Wilkins. Okay. Is there any time in the future that I can get on the agenda?
If you want to write some ordinances up and John says they're good, we'll put you back on the agenda.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks for your time.
Well, just
So I guess we're not.
hold on a second. Just to be clear, my office represents the county.
I don't provide legal advice to people who, it's not the county.
Well,
So-
you can bring
you
it,
should be.
bring
Is my microphone
bring
on?
it to me.
Is my microphone on? Your first thing that you should be doing as an attorney is defending the American citizens and their constitutional rights that are not given to them through the United States or the states. They are born and they get their rights from birth from God, and they are protected and described in the Constitution. And we, the people, get those rights. And so in a summary, we had Mike, which is very intelligent and was probably able to do his job. And then we had Wendy, who was very intelligent and had a written up description of what to do for the finances. And the finances were thrown out, not even listened to. Wendy came up here and had a beautiful reasoning of why we were not following the law. And we weren't following state law 162. We were following the ordinance that Bill amended to the state law. And then, even with all that information, it should be a teamwork, not just one person. Every day that I ever saw any YouTube video, county commission video, and you ask Bill what his input is. And then he walks on everybody. Walked on them all. Totally disrespectful. So please just do us a favor. Read the Constitution. First Amendment of freedom of speech, religion. The Fourth Amendment of right to property and privacy. The Fifth Amendment of right to due process. The Sixth Amendment. Oh, not the Sixth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment of, that one explains overtaxation and punishment through law. So if just read it. And then you have the 14th Amendment that just reinstates, do not encroach on any of these rights. And then you have the 10th Amendment that explains that the rights are the people and they are not given to them through Utah, the United States, or the county commissioners. Please take into consideration our two elected officials and listen to the other people. Thank you very much.
Okay. Public comment. We will limit it to 3 minutes a person and 10 minutes. Open it up now.
I know I speak every week and I probably shouldn't. You can hear a pin drop here today because you have people concerned with what's happening in our county, with what's happening in the division, in this office, in this building. And I want tons of county people to pull up this video and watch how much you three smirked. Smirked or laughed during his speech. That's disrespectful as an elected official. And you know what, Brad and Bill, you guys were born and raised here. Your family is here. You're going to live here for the rest of your life.
Bart.
Brad and Bart. Bill was not born and raised here. He's going to leave here. And I think you guys need to look at the division that you've brought within the county, the ordinances and the resolutions that you have brought forth, and people have said, we do not want these.
Any other public comment? Seeing there's
Willis Lefevre, citizen of Uena County. I want to commend the county on the Balloon Fest. I had the opportunity to have some of the balloonists come to church with us on Sunday. And they had nothing but praise for the event, the way they're treated. They travel the nation doing the Balloon Fest, and they said the reception here is far greater than any other community or any other festival that they attend. They said they're going to try and bring more balloon people with them. And I think the show that was put on just from the one end of the street to the other, the car show, through everything was just incredible. And all of those who have any part to do with that, they really need a pat on the back. They done us proud. And I want to say thank you to all the community and for what they done. That is a class act, and please keep it going. Thank you.
Any other comments? Going once. Close the public comment. We do have a need for a closed session today. If we could get a motion, I'd entertain a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make the motion that we recess into closed session for pending or reasonably imminent litigation, and upon completion, before I go any further, do we need to change venue, John?
Yeah, we got to get on a conference call, so it
Okay.
might be better to
So
move
we
to the-
recess into closed session in the small conference room, the commission office. And upon completion of our closed session, return to open session and recess or close the meeting.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.